Hello and welcome to today's webinar, DK's Summer 2026 Librarian Preview. I'm Donna Seaman, Editor-in-Chief at Booklist. Before we get to all the fun, I'd like to go over some technical details. Links to today's slide presentation and title list were included in the reminder email you received from Zoom an hour ago. To download them, please open that email and scroll to the bottom. Click on the links located there. You can also download the slides and the title list by typing the URLs on the screen into your web browser. If you have any trouble accessing these materials, please contact us at webinars@booklistonline.com. The audience, that's you, is in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions you may have. On the bottom of your screen is a toolbar with a button for Q&A. If you have a question or need technical assistance, simply click Q&A and type your message into the box that appears. We will do our best to respond to all tech-related questions, and we will pass along other questions to today's panelists so they can follow up with you after the webinar. Booklist offers closed captioning on all our webinars. To enable or disable captions on your screen, please look for and click the captions icon on the toolbar. From there, you can select Show or hide captions from the menu that will appear. If you choose to enable subtitles, you can adjust the size of the captions anytime by selecting caption settings. And finally, Booklist expects all participants to maintain an atmosphere of respect and fairness. Anyone who violates this standard of behavior, including engaging in any form of harassment, may, at the discretion of the organizers, be immediately removed. Well, we have a spectacular program for you today. I'll start by introducing Ellie Scott at DK. Take it away, Ellie.
Hi, everyone. Sorry it took a moment for my camera to come on there. Thank you all so much for being here today. I'm Ellie, Associate Manager of Education and Library Marketing at DK. I am so excited for this first half of our Summer 2026 preview hour in particular, in which DK author Darcy Michael will be in conversation with Booklist editor Donna Seaman in celebration of Darcy's debut memoir, Attention Seeker. Before I welcome them on screen, let's set the stage with a look at Attention Seeker, a neurodivergent comedian's guide to thriving with ADHD. Darcy takes readers on a humorous yet heartfelt journey as he relates stories of growing up gay, getting married, and finding a career in comedy, all while navigating life with an attention-addled brain. From his early acting days on Canadian sitcom Spun Out to finding fame and love on the internet, Darcy shares all the dirty details of how ADHD has shaped his identity, his relationships, and his work. Peppered with asides from Darcy's long-suffering husband, Jer, and advice for ADHDers, both silly and serious, this is essential reading for anyone unpacking what ADHD means for them or anyone who just wants to giggle. I am thrilled to introduce the author of this exciting debut. In addition to being an accomplished actor and comedian, Darcy entertains millions on his viral social media accounts. When he's not busy making the internet laugh, Darcy lives with Jer and their dog Yuma on Vancouver Island in Canada. Without further ado, over to Darcy and Donna.
One moment, everyone. It looks like I'm having a little bit of issue with the video. Please stand by. Thank you for your patience.
Hey everyone, slight change of plans. We are actually going to do our book buzz portion of the hour first. Um, First up are some, in case you missed it, ones that we want to make sure you haven't. Those that have already received starred reviews and award winners.
Hello, everyone. First up, we have Rocket, a visually stunning exploration of everything there is to know about space travel. With this guide, kids will learn all about the history and future of rocketry, compare launch vehicles, and get to know the science behind spaceflight. Whether they dream of being an astronaut or an engineer, this fact-packed book is the perfect gift for any child aged 8 to 12 who is obsessed with mega machines and outer space. Booklist starred review hails this as a roaring read. Moving on to The Silent Ones, our next starred review from Booklist, the first in the Mary Shea murder series from DK Adult Fiction's new imprint, Canelo. In this dark and gripping crime thriller, the murder of a newborn baby shakes Kerry, Ireland to its core. Local police officer Mary Shea investigates, finding more questions than answers, and it becomes clear many locals conduct secret lives. But who could do this? Don't miss the compelling and fast-paced mystery. We are honored to share that Dylan Hollis's Baking Across America is a 2026 Libby Award winner. More than a cookbook, though it's packed with 100 delicious recipes readers will be eager to try. This is a cross-country journey, telling the story of American history through local delicacies, from beignets in New Orleans to coffee-based creations in the Pacific Northwest.
Make Good Trouble more than earns its award from the NCSS Children's Book Council. Call to challenge injustice. Sorry, I skipped a line. My God. Inspired by and named for civil rights activist and Congressman John Lewis's call to challenge injustice, this collection of more than 70 narrative true stories explores famous moments of global activism, from the Newsboys' strikes of 1899 to Greta Thunberg's school strike for climate. Brimming with illustrations and additional educational resources, this is essential reading for budding activists. How to Photograph Absolutely Everything is a RUSA Award winner. Photography expert Tom Ange presents a practical guide to achieving the best shot possible in every scenario, from creating a silhouette to impromptu still lifes. Step-by-step guidance on equipment, the best approach for each subject, how to think about composition and light, and more will show you how to turn a picture into an amazing one. And now for our top children's highlights for the summer 2026 season. First, here are some covers you may recognize. Some of these titles are now available in paperback, and others were previously shown in our spring preview, but were pushed to summer. 2 new titles in the A Kid's Book About series are on their way, and they cover the perfect topics for summer. A Kid's Book About Ice Cream from author duo Kim and Tyler Malik, owners of the popular ice cream brand Salt and Straw, who certainly know their way around an ice cream scoop. And from the White Lotus's acclaimed Michelle Monaghan, A Kid's Book About Sun Safety, a guide informed by Monaghan's own experience surviving skin cancer that will empower kids to take care of their skin and stay healthy. Also coming from A Kid's Book About this summer, A Kid's Book About Gender-Affirming Care breaks down what gender-affirming care is and what it isn't, in a way that's clear, kind, and accessible for kids and their grown-ups. Through thoughtful explanations and real-world examples, the book explores what it means to be transgender and/or queer, what transitioning can look like, and why access to supportive care is so important. In A Kid's Book About Movement, Cousin Danny, a former choreographer for the Los Angeles Lakers and a motivational speaker who's reached thousands of kids across the country, lays out an inspiring and empowering guide that shows kids how to embrace movement, not as a chore, but as an exciting way to express themselves, stay healthy, and feel amazing every day. Whether you love to dance, run, jump, or simply wiggle, this book reminds kids that movement is for everyone and it can change your life.
Next up, we have 3 new titles in our A Little Book About series: Belonging, Feminism, and Gratitude. Based on the corresponding A Kid's Book About titles, but for even younger kids, these are small books about big ideas. Best used when read together, these bold, beautiful books start kids on important topics early. The Cranky Cranberry is the latest in the successful series The Happy Pumpkin. This colorful and engaging board book follows adorable characters as they celebrate all the things that make Thanksgiving special, from yummy food and family gatherings to sharing and gratitude. Each page is filled with bright illustrations and accessible language, perfect for capturing the attention of babies and toddlers. This is the perfect first Thanksgiving book for little ones. The Biggest Cat in the Book, the much-anticipated follow-up to The Biggest Dog in the Book, will enchant young readers as they meet cats of all shapes, colors, and sizes on their way to answering that critical question: which is the biggest? Perfect for cat lovers, this playful story features a gatefold surprise at the end that's sure to wow young readers.
Hedgehog Pickles is a little different from his friends. Smooth, round, and perfectly squidgy, he's got no prickles. Prickles being very important for hedgehogs. Pickles sets out on an adventure to find his. Join Pickles in his journey of discovery in this charming hedgehog book as he encounters friendships, mishaps, and the joy of being himself. Told from the unique perspective of the denizens of the animal kingdom, Hey Little Human is a delightful picture book offering a fresh and thought-provoking take on what it means to be human and our place in the natural world. Vibrant scenes showcase diverse cultures and breathtaking landscapes as animals reflect on their similarities and differences to humans, gently reminding us to share our world, appreciate its biodiversity, and care for one another. This is the perfect book to spark conversations about our impact on the environment and encourage empathy. Sorry, I'm having some tech issues on my end. I'm not sure if the slides have moved on or not. I'm going to keep going just in case. We will move on to The Witches of Anderson House, and hopefully the slides will load after. If you aren't aware, DK recently introduced a children's fiction line, DK Flip. Be sure to check out the full range if you haven't yet, but here are a few highlights from this summer's DK Flip. We're seeing witches here, awesome. Your favorite cast of retired witches is back, but this time there's trouble brewing. Following their debut in the starred review, A Spell for Disaster, the Witches of Anderson House have picked up their wands and gotten back on their brooms. And it's a good thing, too. It's all hands on deck to prepare for the annual spring festival. But in the hustle and bustle of preparations, a terrible accident means that something more than baked goods is escaping the kitchen of Anderson House. And he's determined to cause mischief. Can the witches find him before the whole festival is ruined?
9-year-old Penny Jones and her corgi sidekick Luck thought their summer would be ordinary, until a twist of magic sends them tumbling into a whole new world. Their summer plans never included finding a portal in their garden or being whisked away to a magical forest where trees glimmer and bicycles fly. In this new world, they find a kingdom dying from drought and a warrior princess ready to save her home from the evil shadows she holds responsible. Can Penny use her inventing skills to help save this magical place and get back home? Packed with humor and heart, Penny and Luck, The Shadows of Rose Hall is perfect for fans of Mo O'Hara and the Junie B. Jones series. It's the day of deciding in the swampy town of Bogsmarsh, and awkward 12-year-old youngest FAIRCREST is deemed a Darth, the most unremarkable and undesirable profession. Distraught by his hopeless destiny and determined to change his fate, Youngest, along with his best friend Agnes and shape-shifting piglet Satchel, plunge into the dark forest on the hunt for an ancient sorcerer and lost magic. Fierce creatures lurk within the decaying forest, but it's also home to many hidden truths. Could it be that Youngest is more remarkable than he's been made to feel, and capable of more than he ever dreamed? Youngest FAIRCREST and the Search for a Sorcerer is full of adventure, heart, and relatable moments for middle grade readers. Another title sure to ring true with kids ages 8 to 12 is this summer's Minotaur Boy, a hilarious, heartwarming twist on Greek mythology that's perfect for anyone who has ever felt a little bit different. Alex is a perfectly normal 12-year-old trying to navigate middle school and embarrassing parents. But he has a secret. Alex is part Minotaur, half human, half bull. Instead of just battling with zits the size of Mars, thanks puberty, and the looming school musical, he also has to worry about horns and hairy toes. Just when he thinks life couldn't get worse, a new kid, Thesis, shows up at school, and he's on a quest to capture a Minotaur. And a clumsy one like Alex is an easy target. This fantastical twist on the everyday embarrassments of growing up and struggling to fit in will appeal to fans of Percy Jackson and Carolyn Hennessy's Pandora series.
The best-selling I Wonder series returns with 2 exciting new titles for young, curious minds. Stay-at-home explorers will learn all there is to know about mammals and volcanoes through captivating picture spreads, fact features, and engaging activities. What makes a mammal a mammal? When will the next supervolcano erupt? These questions and so many more will be answered in these fully updated reference titles, a perfect pick for kids who are just a little too young for the beloved Eyewitness series. For older readers, ages 9 to 12, Eyewitness Amphibian is the ultimate guide to some of the most remarkable creatures on our planet, from the common frog to the fire salamander. The history of amphibians, where they live, their exceptional camouflage techniques, and more are covered in this updated edition, which includes the latest scientific discoveries and a new eyewitness feature, fascinating firsthand accounts from experts in the field. Let's meet the ancient Egyptians. The second in Ben Hubbard's Let's Meet series, this book immerses the reader in history on every page. Travel with one family through 3,000 years of jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring history, discovering how ancient people worked, played, fought, and feasted, and featuring some of the huge historical figures that marked their lives, from the earliest people farming the land right up to the modern Egyptian researchers cataloging the past. Uncover the first-hand story of the civilization that shaped the world.
Enter a world of powerful gods, extraordinary creatures, and brave warriors in this thrilling compendium of Japanese myths. With more than 20 exciting tales backed up by fascinating historical information, this is a must-have introduction for young readers intrigued by ancient cultures and mythology. Featuring beautiful illustrations by award-winning illustrator Katie Ponder throughout, Myths of Japan introduces kids to emperors, gods, and mischievous creatures like the fox spirit kitsune. Have you ever wondered if monsters really exist? Journey into the extraordinary world of cryptozoology in the captivating Cryptids, as you explore the stories behind mythical creatures both famous and infamous. From the legendary Loch Ness Monster to the terrifying Mothman, readers ages 7 to 11 will discover how science and detective work can be used to uncover the truth behind these amazing beasts, and how, in some curious cases, cryptids have turned out to be more fact than fiction. This stunningly illustrated book will fuel imagination and spark curiosity. Dragon World is a gorgeous introduction to every variety of this fire-breathing mythological beast. Brimming with scaled behemoths, this book delves into why dragons exist in stories from every land in the world, while offering a look into their treasure-laden lairs and shape-shifting mischief. Readers will learn clues to track dragons and master how to draw them.
What's the worst mistake you've ever made? It will pale in comparison to those mistakes that have gone down in history, chronicled in this hilarious exploration of the wildest mishaps, miscalculations, and bloopers of the past. Kids aged 7 to 10 will love uncovering weird but true tales of ridiculous rulers, engineering emergencies, and sport slip-ups in a guide that proves even the biggest blunders can make for great stories. The latest title in our DK Superworld series, curriculum-aligned books that foster a love of discovery by incorporating exciting facts, captivating stories, and interactive maps, takes us to China. Delve into the diverse habitats, fascinating ancient history, and rich culture of the world's third largest country. Vibrant visuals and age-appropriate content create an immersive learning experience, making complex information accessible and engaging for young learners. Up next are some titles that will keep kids engaged and away from the screens that seem ever present in today's world. Unlock Your Imagination presents a collection of over 250 screen-free activities that will spark creativity and banish boredom, from building a mini golf course to making your own fruit monster. From Moti, the airport guy, comes Airport Adventure, which will enthrall kids at home, but especially while they travel through the airport themselves, answering questions like, what causes turbulence? Where does luggage go once you've checked in?
And readers aged 9 to 12 will spend hours poring over the Miniverse, a mind-boggling journey into the world of the teeny tiny. This captivating book reveals a hidden realm of unexpected beauty and complexity, from the intricate geometry of pollen grains to the mosaic of skin flakes that covers the human body. Most of what happens in our world has been thoroughly investigated, but not everything. The Unexplained is all about the events, activities, disappearances, and creatures that leave us more questions than answers. What happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? Can people spontaneously combust? Did a whole playground full of school children actually spot a UFO? This extensive guide takes readers from ancient mysteries through modern-day conundrums. From self-proclaimed Greek myth nerd and host of popular Let's Talk About Myths Baby podcast, Liv Albert comes a visually stunning retelling of the ultimate adventure story, the Odyssey. Readers will journey with Odysseus and follow his heroic, catastrophic, and sometimes gruesome travels, from battling the Cyclops to being tempted by sirens. Littered with historical facts, maps, and family trees, Liv brings all of her knowledge and expertise to this future classic, which is perfectly timed alongside this summer's Christopher Nolan film about the Greek hero and rising interest in the tale.
Travel through time and around the globe to discover spellbinding tales of fantastic folklore, magical chance encounters, and mythical beings in the extraordinary history of the Fae. Featuring immersive storytelling plus captivating illustrations from Camellia Pham, this book covers everything from the origin of the word fairy to the modern tales and superstitions that still exist today. The book delves into how magic has been seen and thought of throughout history, both good and bad. All cultures, stories, and beliefs are approached sensitively and appropriately for 9 to 12-year-olds.
Rounding out our children's highlights are two new titles from Phonic Books, our range of decodable books for beginner and older readers. I'm excited to share the second book in the Mount Olympus Mysteries series, Athena and the Stolen Threads. This new series of high-low chapter books tailored for readers aged 10 to 14 who need support follows a group of teenage demigods who didn't inherit any godlike powers but prove useful to the gods by solving mysteries and problems in ancient Greece. The characters must overcome self-doubt and discover their skills even though they may be disappointed that powers haven't come easily to them. Each book is carefully written with a focus on morphology, suffixes, prefixes, and word roots and bases. Also coming this summer is the second book in the Suncat series, our first set of decodable graphic novels. 6 chapters bound into one graphic novel format follow the adventures of a diverse group of teenage friends in a skateboarding team called Suncats. Each chapter practices the spellings A-E, E-E, I-E, O-E, and U-E. We have a host of new DK Super readers arriving this summer. This nonfiction leveled readers series is designed for kids aged 3 to 11 and is divided into 5 levels, from pre-level to level 4, all aligned to Lexile measures. This summer's range of new readers features kid-favorite characters and franchises, from Pokemon to Star Wars.
Movie buffs will devour the Toy Story treasury of characters, a fun-filled guide, 30 years of cinematic history featuring everyone from Buzz, Woody, and Bullseye to Emperor Zurg and Wheezy, which takes young fans on an unforgettable journey through every beloved Toy Story film, including this summer's Toy Story 5, all in a book to keep and treasure. And cinephiles are sure to appreciate the art of Avatar: Fire and Ash. Discover how crucial scenes were conceived and marvel at the incredible attention to detail that the Avatar artist brought to the development of new characters. Hundreds of spectacular images convey all the power, beauty, and intricate detail with which the Avatar film franchise has enthralled millions all over the world. Gamers of all ages will be enthralled by these guides of 2 of the most popular games of all time. Warhammer: Age of Sigmar Ultimate Guide is a visual encyclopedia containing all you need to know about the mortal realms of Age of Sigmar, Warhammer's incredible fantasy setting. Packed with hundreds of beautiful photos of miniatures and stunning artwork, the book reveals previously unseen details and behind-the-scenes info on the creation of your favorite characters and factions. Following in the footsteps of DK's beloved cross-section series, Minecraft Incredible Cross-Sections slices open mind-blowing Minecraft builds to show you the inner workings of 20 real-world buildings, vehicles, and inventions. This is a must-read for every Minecraft fan.
Finally, we have a full slate of Spanish publishing coming in summer 2026 on both the children's and adult sides. Highlighted here are just a select few of this year's forthcoming and latest editions of our DK books in Spanish. And now on to our adult highlights. First up, some more familiar faces. Again, these have been pushed to the summer or are now available in paperback. With Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu hitting the big screen in May, this visual guide to the show that introduced these characters is perfectly timed and features a foreword from Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian himself. A Kiss of Hammer and Flame is your new romantasy obsession, now in paperback. And don't miss the hotly anticipated sequel, A Crown of Blood and Magic, that's coming out this September.
Savor the flavors of Italy in this love letter to seasonal cooking from Jessie and Alessio Pacini. Jessie and Alessio bring their endearing intersection of cultures into your kitchen with their debut cookbook. Readers will learn how to identify the most authentic Italian ingredients in American grocery stores, how to taste for the best olive oil, and of course, how to prepare the most delicious Italian foods, from appetizers to desserts and everything in between. You may know them from social media, where they have more than 4.3 million followers across platforms. Lora McLaughlin Peterson has been feeding her family balanced meals daily for over 30 years, so she knows all too well how a seemingly simple 30-minute one-pan wonder can still leave us exhausted by not accounting for hidden tasks, such as chopping, rummaging through cabinets, or clean up afterward. This is why she created LORAfied, a digital media company that helps people do life better on a budget. The motto of her cookbook is fancy yet frugal, with low-hassle recipes, household hacks, and lifestyle tips. This book makes life easier, brighter, and more delicious, all without breaking the bank. The companion to the best-selling The Rebel Diet, with new recipes and 9 meal prep plans to help you lose weight. The Rebel Diet Meal Prep Cookbook is the ideal guide to healthier eating with a busy schedule. Benji Xavier invites readers to simplify their approach to achieving a healthier body weight through meal prep. Benji's own journey took him from feeling tired and unhealthy to losing over 100 pounds, and meal prep played a significant role in his success. In true Benji fashion, the flavors in this cookbook are bold, exciting, and never boring.
We all know we need to eat more plants, and what better way to incorporate a wide variety of whole foods into your diet than with a thoughtfully composed salad? In 4 seasonal chapters, Alexandra Stacey demonstrates how creating the right balance between texture, acidity, and flavor will allow you to build vibrant bowls of goodness using a wide variety of fiber, protein, herbs, vegetables, vinaigrettes, and toppings. For David and Stephen St. Russell, aka the Renovation Husbands, a home with character does not need to be historic, but it must be crafted with intention. Join them on a room-by-room journey as they break down the process behind every design decision, from structural to decorative, and explain how each element can contribute to building character in your home. The World Cup is coming to the US in 2026, and we've got the books you need to brush up on all things soccer. League of Soccer Legends reimagines 80 of the greatest ever soccer stars as superhuman heroes, each with exceptional abilities that elevate them beyond mortal status. Packed with stunning illustrations inspired by classic comics and featuring cult players both past and present, this is a riveting dose of soccer nostalgia that walks fans through the biggest games, the best goals, and the brightest stars. And the new, fully revised and updated edition of The Soccer Book is the ultimate guide to the beautiful game. For players, spectators, or armchair coaches, this book illustrates every aspect of the most popular sport in the world. Discover the story behind the sport, from its history around the globe to the results of the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, and the build-up to the 2026 FIFA World Cup in North America.
From Mesopotamia's thriving trade hubs to the spectacular cities of the Inca, Civilizations Map by Map charts the rise and fall of more than 90 pioneering early societies. A combination of specially commissioned storytelling maps and contemporary examples offer a window into the pivotal events, key innovations, and cultural cornerstones, and enduring legacies of these ancient worlds. Written and authenticated by a panel of expert historians, this latest addition to our ever-popular Map by Map series uncovers the incredible stories of our shared past, one map at a time. Psych takes readers on a journey through the rich and fascinating history of psychology. From the early philosophical musings of Aristotle and Plato on the human mind to the game-changing theories of Freud, Jung, and Skinner, this book breaks down the major concepts and developments that have defined the field. With stunning visuals and an engaging narrative, it explores the minds between the key milestones that made psychology what it is today. Humans tells the story of our evolution, with beautiful illustrations of our seemingly ordinary autonomy, alongside colorful, mind-expanding graphics of what we have achieved with it. This thought-provoking book presents the latest advances in understanding human evolution, changing old myths and baked-in misconceptions, all through the lens of the human body. Each chapter tackles a different body part, showing how it has evolved and the role it has played. Find out who we are, where we come from, and perhaps where we're going.
We have a few titles that are perfect bases for library programming. host of first aid administration training guided by the American College of Emergency Physicians, a crochet class with DK's step-by-step guide, or a DIY gardening session. America turns 250 this July 4th. Celebrate with these upcoming titles, delving into our country's past and present. The American Revolution, A Visual History, one of our titles in partnership with the Smithsonian, offers an accessible and authoritative account of the war that forged a nation. From the first sparks of rebellion to the final treaty, this comprehensive visual history charts the key battles, political tensions, and personal stories that shaped the United States. The Rebel and the Peacemaker centers on Charles and Mary Bagot, who fled Regency England amid scandal and settled in Washington, where they would serve as the first British ambassadors to America. This meticulously researched work chronicles how their diplomacy, first in the US and later in Russia and Canada, forever changed the power dynamics on the world stage. Otherworldly America showcases the magnificent natural beauty of the United States in gorgeous photographic spreads, taking the reader from glacier-covered peaks and sun-soaked coasts to wind-swept red rock canyons and moss-draped rainforests. Finally, the history of the USA year by year tells the extraordinary story of the United States of America, from its fight for independence to its 250th anniversary.
The Tomorrow Project is an unmissable new speculative novel for fans of Station 11 and The Last of Us. In a virus-ravaged 2050s London, young Maya escapes to an evacuation camp, but realizes she must leave to find what remains of the outside world. Her journey is fraught with danger as she seeks hope and survival beyond the camp's confines. Publishers Weekly recently praised the book, noting that it sharply examines the ways people in and out of power react to a world-shattering crisis. This brisk adventure offers both excitement and food for thought. Turning our attention to romance, we have some perfect summer reads for the season. The Dating Pact is a classic fake dating story with a twist. He's red carpet royalty, she's a nurse at Royal Hospital. A chance meeting and an unfortunate encounter with the paparazzi spiral into a scripted romance. But what happens when it starts to feel too real? Here Comes Summer is a spicy second-chance romance centered on exes Brady and Hayes, and what happens when circumstances force them into spending the summer on a tour of Europe's most romantic cities. Sports romance is all the rage right now, thanks to heated rivalry, and we've got more than enough to satisfy the craving. First up is Love Game, a sizzling, forced proximity romance between a tennis star and his personal chef, perfect for fans of Allie Hazelwood. The Finish Line is a steamy, grumpy meets sunshine romance for fans of Hannah Grace, which follows Lily, the first female racer on a traditional Formula One team, and Henry, a cutthroat rival driver who's only interested in winning until he meets Lily. The Greatest Game is a hot new soccer romance for fans of Ted Lasso and She's the Man, telling the story of two high school soccer coaches who are competing for the same title, but can't seem to stay apart. Hot and Cold kicks off with good friends, Lindsay and Aiden, waking up married in Vegas, and things only get more chaotic when the hockey press gets a hold of star player Aiden's new marriage. Be sure to add these four to your collection.
Of Shadows and Blood is a delicious romantasy offering inspired by author Ivy Rose's real life. After suffering a brain injury, Ivy spent months under treatment and recovery. When she woke up months later, she found a document on her laptop that she didn't remember, the start of a fantasy novel inspired by her own injury. That manuscript became Of Shadows and Blood. Main character Liv wakes up from a coma in an unfamiliar place, a forgotten kingdom Lux, inhabited by vampire, magical sorceresses, and humans, all of whom believe Liv is destined to be their next queen. As she battles to reclaim her lost memories and redefine her purpose, Liv faces an impossible choice. Trust the cold vampire king to help break her curse, or flee. Bloodcast brings the reader to Hyderabad, India, 1895. When 3 bodies are discovered with mutilations bearing an eerie resemblance to the Ripper's Whitechapel victims, Chief Inspector Subramania is summoned to investigate. Faced with thorny imperial politics, Sub must ally with his rival in the British Residency Police, Inspector Wilberforce, to hunt down the killer. So begins a deadly game of cat and mouse played in the shadow of empire, where high birth protects foul deeds and where spilt blood counts for less than wealth. Another historical mystery from our new adult fiction imprint, Canelo, The Case of the Mad Doctor, brings us to Jamaica, 1772. People have started disappearing without a trace. With suspicion of a grand fraud in the air, ambitious black barrister's clerk Isaiah Olenyu is thrown together with pious insurance agent Reuben Ashby and ordered to the Caribbean to investigate. Confronted by prejudice, untoward characters, and vengeful spirits, the task may cost this unlikely duo more than either man is willing to pay. We'll finish off with 2 dark, gripping thrillers. In The Residence, struggling single mother Ginny thinks that she's hit the jackpot when she's accepted for an all-expenses paid artist residency. But all is not what it seems on this remote Scottish island, and by the time Ginny realizes what a grave mistake she's made, it may be too late. And last but not least, The Woman from Book Club is the darkly funny, fast-paced tale of the fallout when perfect wife Emma is arrested for the murder of her husband at her weekly book club. As the women turn from the murder on the pages to the hidden secrets of the group, will they discover a killer plot twist that none of them saw coming?
Great. So, Darcy, it's so wonderful to talk with you.
Nice to meet you, Donna. Thanks for having me.
I so enjoyed your book, every word.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed writing most of the words.
Well, I thought we'd start. It's a memoir, although it's also quite a course in what it is to thrive with ADHD. But I wanted to start at the beginning because you do talk about yourself as a child. And I just wondered if you were always funny. Were you that boy that made everybody laugh all the time?
As far as I remember, yes. I think my parents they always like to describe that I came out of the womb doing jazz hands, cracking jokes. So it was definitely, as the youngest in my family, I think it just became kind of my role was to lighten the mood when things got intense.
You were also a theater kid, I believe.
Yes. Oh, I fell in love with theater when I was a kid. And, I talk about it in the book, but I'm such a fan of teachers. And I was so lucky to have this incredible teacher, Lloyd Burrett, who just built this incredibly safe kind of space in our theater in high school that it just became like if I had a spare class or it was lunch or I was at school afterwards, you just hung out in the theater. And it got to the point where we would take these group trips to New York and London to go see Broadway shows and West End shows. And I fell in love with the whole community. Everything about it I love.
Great. So we should mention that you are a Canadian, that you grew up in Canada.
I am. Yes, I am a proud Canadian.
And we respect that. So the book is about ADHD, which one of the first really striking points in the book is that you did not know about that until you were an adult. I wonder if you could tell the story about the first person who sort of brought that up to you when you were already a working comedian.
Yeah, it was. I was working on a show. We were writing a script with Bruce McCullough from Kids in the Hall. Talk about a Canadian icon. And I don't think Bruce it was enjoying my lack of focus the first day we were working together. And he asked me how long I had ADHD, and it was kind of it just smacked me in the face because I'd never been asked that in my whole life. And I think, like as a 90s kid growing up, my definition of ADHD or back then ADD was much different than what we've learned it to be now. So at first I was kind of insulted by it, but then it just stuck with me and I kept being like, like maybe he's onto something. And I started reading about it because I was like, I'm not running laps around a room. So I don't think of it, but that's when I also learned that ADHD is the worst named disorder because it's not, like the hyperactiveness doesn't speak to your physical body. It speaks to your mental. And once I kind of learned that, I was like, oh, whoa, like, Bruce might be onto something here. Like this might actually answer a lot of questions. And so he opened the door, and then I fell down the rabbit hole and did what a lot of people do and started taking quizzes online on it. And then I finally went to my GP, my doctor, and talked to them. And then we went down the route of getting like a proper diagnosis. And it's just kind of been one aha moment after another since. And that was about 8 years ago now.
Yeah, you tell that story so engagingly. I mean, we get to know you up to that point, and you talk a lot about the challenges of show business too. It's no easy matter to become a comedian.
No, it's not. It's definitely, I think I've taken the weirdest routes with it throughout my career, but I think that speaks to the power of ADHD is when like when one route doesn't work, you just kind of adjust and find another way to make it land. And, I think I've had I don't discount my talent, but I also think some dumb luck has come along the way that's definitely helped kind of grow my fan base and stuff. So I've been really lucky.
Yeah. So of course, yes, luck's always part of everything. So writing a book is really, really hard. I've done it. It's like super difficult.
Yeah.
And to do it, when you have ADHD, seems like even more difficult.
Yeah.
So I wondered, what got you to do this? What inspired you to take this on?
The money, Donna, that's what inspired me.
No money.
No, I think it's a medium that I wasn't sure I could do, to be honest. And nothing motivates me more than me needing to challenge myself. And it just came at a time where I wanted to try something different. And I thought, like I haven't been able to read a book in my adult life. And then I realized it was like, okay, maybe there's something there that speaks to, if I can't read a book, I shouldn't be able to write a book. And then I thought, what if I wrote a book that I could read? And I wrote a book that was more, geared towards my brain and my type of thinking. And so then it just like every step of the way, the challenges kept I hit the roadblock and learn more about myself. And so it really was just kind of this weird challenge to myself. And, like my book agents, when they were the ones that first approached me about writing a book, and I never would have thought to write one. And I have to say, I just fell in love with it. I really didn't think I was good. I thought I joke about it being a paycheck. Genuinely, at first, I was like, "All right, I'm going to suffer through this to get another income stream coming in." And by the end of it, I loved it so much. I've already started writing my next one.
Ooh, I'm so happy to hear that.
No, yeah, it's been a really eye-opening thing because as a stand-up comedian, I'm used to instant gratification when I perform, like I know that my written words, when I speak them on stage, I get the instant feedback. Whereas this was so terrifying to be putting a book out into the world and not know, are these jokes going to land? Are these stories too personal? And so it's been really wonderful to like get the feedback from the audience and from friends and family and people in the industry, like yourself and stuff, that the book is finding its way. It's really reassuring that I didn't cry for 4 years while writing it for nothing.
It works really, it's brilliantly structured. I love that you address the reader throughout, and you're encouraging readers who have ADHD to stay with it. You offer lots of tips. You offer options at the end of each chapter. Very, very cleverly structured.
Well, the last time I enjoyed reading books was when I was a kid. I used to love Choose Your Own Adventure.
Right.
And because I think those were brilliantly made for undiagnosed ADHD kids back then. And so I wanted to have a little homage to that part of my childhood. And so when we decided to end the chapters with Choose Your Own Distraction, I remember talking to Jer. We were sitting in our hot tub one night, and I was like, there's something missing after the chapters. Like, I don't know what it is. And we got talking, and then I mentioned Choose Your Own Adventure, and then it just hit me, and we both were like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's the thing.
Perfect.
Like, what a great little way to pay homage to little Darcy.
Little Darcy. Well, and it gives readers, it made me laugh. And of course I stayed with it because I am an avid reader in that way. But I thought, sure, skip around, come back. That makes it
well,
fun.
And that's the thing. Like, each chapter really is its own standalone kind of essay and lesson per se, especially if you look at like the chapter list. So it is kind of a book that you can pick up. And I'm a big fan of David Sedaris and his essays
I
and
kept
stuff.
thinking of him when I was reading this.
Yeah, and he's really like the biggest influence on the writing side of the book. I've always enjoyed. I do the audiobooks for David, and like I still consume books. It's always just been audiobooks for me. But David's writing style is something that I aspire to have.
I could tell a Sedaris that kept coming. I'm like, oh, that's a Sedaris moment right there.
So, don't tell him that. I don't want him to copyright it.
No, this will never get to his ears.
Yeah.
So a couple of things came to mind. I mean, you joke around a lot, but there's also a lot of serious things. But at one point, you say, I actually wrote this book by speaking it out loud. And I wondered if there was any truth to that.
It is. It's very true. It's always been my writing style for stand-up and stuff. It's what I call it the purge part of my writing. So I will tell the story that I think is, like when it came to each chapter, I would just sit in my office like a lunatic and talk it out loud. And I use the transcription app on my iPhone, and then it would transcribe it into a Word document for me, and then I would be able to edit from there. And so it was always the building block, and that's always been the case. Like when I have a joke I want to try and write, or when I have because with my stand-up, a lot of the time I write on stage. So if I have an idea for a joke, I'll just go out with the idea and hope to heavens that the joke comes to me. And so it's just kind of always started from there. And so with the book, I was like, well, I guess I'll just do what works for me and talk out loud. So I'm sure my neighbors and the bunny rabbits in our garden are, like, what is going on in there?
Well, it really works. It comes across, as a performance. It's really got that energy. So that's fantastic.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. So another thing that I was curious about, you say at some point, or maybe a couple times, that Attention Seeker, which is the title of the book we're talking about, is not a self-help book. And yet you provide so much information. I learned so much, and you offer tips and advice. So is it a self-help book, or is it not a self-help book?
Hey, here's the thing. We live in a world of grifters and snake oil salesmen, and I just wanted to really, I really pride myself on being as genuine to our audience as we can be, and I don't want them to put too much weight into my words, because I'm not qualified. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I'm just someone that's found success with my ADHD and wanted to show other people that they could have that too. But I from the beginning with the publishers, I was like, if I see this book in a self-help section, I'm going to be mad, because this is a comedy memoir about ADHD. But at the same time, much like with our stand-up and stuff, anytime you have someone's attention, if you can teach them something, why not? So when I would be telling these stories, I was like, okay, well, what is the lesson here? Like, what can the reader say? How can I implement this ridiculous story into my own life? And so it was fun to find that, but it was very much just as a bonus to the audience. It wasn't the goal for me.
Interesting. Because you balance humor with a lot of really sort of serious stories and comments and insights, and also the research. You have footnotes.
Yeah, there's a lot of footnotes. Yeah. I like to have fun with the footnotes. There's some really stupid ones in there.
Yeah, they're good. But it's also so. I love that you use the word neurofabulous, which is a great term altogether.
Yeah.
And this book really, it's a lot about being an artist and a performer. It's also a lot about growing up gay and being married, being able to get married to your husband in Canada earlier than people were getting married elsewhere. Yeah. So, of course, your husband, Jer, is a big part of your performance life and part of your book, and he has little appearances in here. I wonder if you could talk about that.
He does. Yeah, it was funny because that came about very accidentally. It would be that I'd be trying to remember a story, and so I'd write it out, the rough draft of the chapter, and then I'd take it and I'd go into his office and I go, is this how it goes? And a couple of times he'd be like, are you kidding? And so then we'd have this shared doc, and he started just chiming in on Google Docs. And I don't know if you've ever used it where you're like, I'm literally writing and then he's writing above it. And then I thought, you're just going to interrupt this whole book. And so then I went back to the publishers and I was like, what do you think about Jer interrupting the book? And they loved it. And I also thought that was good for, like our core audience loves Jer and our relationship so much that I thought it would be a nice tip of the hat for them. And it's a great little, just sets the book apart from any others, I think. So it was really fun for us to kind of go through, but he's still mad he doesn't show up until there it is. He doesn't show up until page 90, I think. And he was like, hey, I could have been in earlier. But yeah, we, it's tough because the book is such a, it's a time capsule for us now, which we're really happy to be able to have that. But it is a really beautiful period of our life and, our country's life with the, legalizing gay marriage in 2004 was such a big moment for my family. And to be able to kind of immortalize that in the book was really special for me.
Oh, yes. Wow, your parents are amazing. So supportive and loving. That was so moving.
Yeah, that one's a tough one. I think it was the hardest thing about the audiobook was getting through that chapter. After we finished recording, I'm alone in the booth and I just tapped the microphone and I said, do you mind if we take a break? And the sound engineer I was working with, this lovely woman, didn't answer. And I thought, oh no, was I too emotional in this? And so I leave the booth and she's just sobbing. And she was like, we need an hour. And I was like, okay, great. Thank you. That's all the feedback I needed, because all comedy books have a really good crying section, right?
Oh,
I'm very lucky that my parents are two of the greatest human beings in the world. And they showed it time and time throughout my childhood and adulthood and even to this day. But any chance I get to brag about seeing their growth as human beings, my favorite thing to say is it's not a parent's job to understand, it's a parent's job to show up. And my parents showed up every time I needed them.
They really did. And given your father's career, what your father did for a living as part of a
absolutely
police officer, as part of a SWAT team.
Yeah.
You don't
It's,
always.
like a lot of my dad's career in the 70s was doing the famous bathhouse raids in Toronto.
Oh my
And so I always tell him I'm his karma child. I'm like, you went and arrested all those gay men, and then, hey, look who showed up. Like for him to go from that to how he embraced who I was, it speaks so loudly to who he is as a man.
Yeah, it's really impressive. We really need those kind of stories. You so often hear the other, the abusive stories, the tragic stories.
For
So
sure.
that was very
I think that that's the beauty is, like Jared and I really try to find queer joy. And I also think that's why something like Heated Rivalry has been such a hit lately is, the smutty stuff aside, we grew up in a time that every queer story involved trauma, whether it was coming out to bad parents or gay bashing or the AIDS crisis. Every love story for the most of my life revolved around that. And then something as beautiful as Heated Rivalry comes along, and it's like, no wonder we're all grasping this as close as we can, because it's just joy. And so I think that is also why Jared and I have had such success, is that we really have focused on just showing the world that not only are we a beautiful family, but we're joyful and fun.
Definitely. So for people that might not be familiar with you and Jer and how you became famous and went viral during COVID, you want to give us a little recap of that? It's a great story.
Yeah, like the Reader's Digest version of it is that I had quietly stepped back from performing in 2019, and we got a dog, and I started a little TikTok page for this dog because I wanted to share puppy videos with friends and family. And our dog has a very unique obsession with rocks, and she went viral, and I got jealous because I was like, I've done this for almost 20 years and my 3-month-old dog is more famous on the internet. And so I started a TikTok page for me, and it started with just some stand-up clips that did really well, and they went viral a few times. And then COVID hit, and I was just bored, and I started filming things, and Jer started chiming in off camera, and then all of a sudden he was filming me doing things, and it just, there was about this magical 6-week period where, we went from 10,000 followers to 1 million followers, and the whole time we were so embarrassed about it that we weren't telling any friends or family about TikTok because no one really knew about it then. It was still on the ground floor, and then all of a sudden I started getting texts from friends being like, wow, I just got TikTok and you're famous on there. I was like, oh, don't tell anyone. I don't know what I want to do with it. And then we started noticing people posting them on Instagram and Facebook. And I thought, all right, cat's out of the bag. Let's just go deep. And we just kind of leaned in, and it really it was so selfish of us because it was such a scary time that, especially, my mom was going through breast cancer at the time. We couldn't see her. We were, Jer's company at the time supplied PPE. So he was working 18 hours a day, just making sure nurses were getting masks. And I was at home at the time with my mom's puppy and my puppy. And so it just became, what can we do for 60 seconds today that will make us smile? And then maybe that'll make other people smile. And that was the motivation. And that's still to this day, anytime we post something, we go, is this going to make people feel good? Because is it Maya Angelou? I think it is. But you'll always remember how someone made you feel. And so we always just look at it going, I hope we make people feel good. And that's the thing that motivates us still.
There's no more worthy a mission, truly. And people need it now. That was a horrible time. It's amazing how quickly the years have gone by since, and we're in a different kind of world.
And it keeps getting worse.
Getting worse. It's very scary.
Yeah, we've been finding that on our tour right now. Is the audiences are so starved for happiness that by the time we walk out, it's just a magical 2 hours every night. We leave I hope everyone's leaving with their cup full.
Oh, that's so great. Will you be coming to the US? You're in Canada as we speak today, but
yeah, we just did. Yeah, we just finished 3 weeks of touring, and then we go back next week. We've got Seattle, Portland, LA, Boulder. I think there's 7 or 8 more cities in the States to do, and a few more in Canada, and then we go to Australia and New Zealand.
Oh wow, big trip.
Yeah.
Well, I hope people listening to this that are in Seattle and Boulder and other places will check it out if they can.
Yeah, go to darcyandjer.com. Come hang out for a party.
That's great. So you said that you were working on another book. Can you tell us anything about it? Or is
I can't say anything yet. I can't say anything yet, but it's another passion project, but I think it'll be a very good sister to Attention Seeker. I'm enjoying it, but I don't know yet. We're gonna wait and see what happens with it. But it's been a very fun experience so far. Now that I have this first one under my book, I feel like under my I've got this first book under my book, under my belt. So I'm excited to see what the next one, how it turns out.
That's great. So one more question as we get close to the time here. I was very struck by, it's very supportive of people that have ADHD. Were you also looking to inspire allies like myself with your book, Attention Seeker?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, that was kind of the thing that we've learned early on is not only have people that have watched our content and read the book enjoyed connecting with my side, but we found it was equally that way for spouses or siblings or friends of others that were relating to Jer's side of things. So when I was writing the book, I thought, it would be wonderful for other people to just have some insight into how our brains work, because it might help them understand, when we talk about things like rejection sensitivity dysphoria or object permanence, those are things that not only help people with ADHD understand, but their loved ones as well, where it's like, oh, wow, like Darcy hasn't called me for a while. I better remind him that I exist, not in an insulting way, but more in now that I understand how object permanence works for them, it's not a negative for me to be like, hey, I'm over here and I need some attention.
Exactly. No, I learned so much. And our inner lives are on a spectrum, don't you think? There's aspects of ADHD that I have that other people have to lesser degrees perhaps, but I just recognize a lot of these behaviors. So that's very enlightening. And I was also so struck by how you talk about how something like ADHD is like life. There's the ups and the downs of it, that it's not all one thing. It's not one.
Yeah. I think anytime someone deals with anything that is related to their mental health, society puts this kind of shame on it. But I don't believe that a neurotypical person exists. I think that you will meet some of the most successful people in the world, but when you actually start talking to them, you go, oh, you've got little signs of imposter syndrome. I see through your cracks. And you start to realize like, oh, wow, like perfection is unattainable. It does not exist when it comes to the human mind or body, although I'm pretty close on the body side. I would just say that I think it's really fascinating when we talk about the issues that we're going through mentally. How many people do what you've been doing, is just nodding along going, oh, I understand, because we were so ashamed to talk about these things for so long. Now that we've got, especially men, I just can't stress to men enough, please talk about your feelings. You will find it yourself happier there. Please tell us what's going on. It's a really important thing that you check in with your loved ones and make sure that they have a safe space to come and talk to you about, what they're going through and stuff, because we are all way more relatable than people realize.
For sure. Well, one more closing question. So many of our watchers, our viewers, will be librarians and library workers. Do you have any words for Oh, okay.
I'm such a fan of librarians and libraries. The Libby app is my #1 app that I use on my phone. I always say you can't have a community without a library because it is how you meet your neighbors. Thank you for being librarians. I think it's something that people take for granted, but art needs to be accessible to all forms of income. And I think that fighting for libraries and fighting for the right to share these arts in a time when we're seeing books banned, in a time when we're seeing art destroyed, you are the purveyors of our community. So thank you for supporting the art.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Darcy. What a joy to speak with you.
Thank you, Donna. This is great.
Gorgeous book up again. Congratulations on Attention Seeker.
Appreciate it.
Stay well. We look forward to your next book.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much to Darcy Michael for a wonderful conversation. Thank you everyone for staying with us. Thank you Team DK for a great program. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing links to today's slide presentation, the title list, certificate of completion, and video recording. For more about Booklist webinars, be sure to visit booklistonline.com/webinars, where you can view archives of past programs and register for upcoming ones, such as the ones you see here. You can also find out about the latest webinars on our social channels. Visit us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky. Yes, 150 years of empowering library professionals, advancing access to knowledge, and protecting the freedom to read. Since 1876, the American Library Association has embodied America's aspiration for knowledge and democracy, championing the professionals who make that promise real every day. Scan the QR code on the screen or visit ala150.org to learn how you can join us in helping shape the next 150 years of precious libraries. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. One more huge thank you to our panelists and to our sponsor, GK Books, and to the phenomenal Darcy Michael. This concludes today's webinar. See you next time.